everybody. Superintendent Wiles, High School Principal Carl Pavone, ETSRPA Executive Committee, teachers, parents, and scholarship winners, welcome to the annual ETSRPA Scholarship Ceremony. For those of you who do not know, the ETSRPA, which is going to be mispronounced many times tonight, stands for the Ellenville Teachers and School-Related Professionals Association, or simply put, the union representing all the school employees responsible for helping your children navigate through these past 13 years of school. My name is Brian Vinance, I'm the ETSRPA president, and I'm excited to be here tonight. After 2 very challenging years of education, we were closed, we were remote, we went hybrid, then we were closed, then we were remote. I'm very proud to say that everyone in this room, the parents, the teachers, and most importantly the students, have successfully managed this crazy time. We've come out stronger, more resilient, with the ability to adapt, to change, and to succeed. This is an incredible group of young people here tonight. Before we begin, I would like to take a minute to introduce the people that make the union go. Tony Franza, Vice President. Sabrina Decker, Vice President. Teresa Roselli, Treasurer. And Tim Wright, Secretary. So let's get to why we're here tonight, these students. Our scholarship winners were voted on by all of the members of the ETSRPA, and they will talk about their experience here at ECS and the teachers that they have chosen to speak for them. Then the teachers will come up and speak about their students. This has always been and will always be my favorite night of the year. It reminds teachers why we do what we do. It's an emotional night filled with laughter and tears. I'm very excited to hear all of the great speeches tonight, so let's get started. And we're going to have to shuffle the order a little bit, I'm sorry. But I would like to invite up Mr. Farrell Worrell. Come on, buddy.
Hello, everybody. First, I would like to say I'm sorry. I forgot to tell Miss Ford about tonight, and I just found out last second, so that's why she's not here. What's what I wrote? When I first moved back to New York, my freshman year, I remember walking into English class, and right away Miss Ford helped me. Technically being a new kid, I appreciated Miss Ford for helping me and keeping me on the right track and focusing on my work. I also had Miss Ford follow the next 2 years. It was nice having consistency, and it made me comfortable working with someone I already knew. I can honestly say that if it wasn't for Miss Ford, I don't think I would have passed 11th grade. 11th is when COVID made us all go remote, and it was very hard to understand, and it was stressful for me to process the work not in person. Miss Ford helped me through the years. She helped me stay on track. She helped me not get frustrated. She helped me focus. Thank you, Miss Ford, for everything you've done for me. I appreciate it.
So, as Farrell said, Mrs. Ford couldn't make it, but she did write a speech. I'm sorry. She did write a speech that I would like to read in her place. Good evening and congratulations to all the ETSRPA scholarship winners. I would like to take a few minutes to share a few words about a very special student of mine, Farrell Worrell. Dedicated, motivated, and honest, funny and warm. These are the words I would use to describe Farrell. When I first met Pharaoh, he had just moved back to Ellenville in the middle of his freshman year. Back then, I might have described him as someone who was pretty social, maybe a goofball, and someone who needed to buckle down. He might have seen me as a pesty English teacher and a stickler for the rules. It wasn't until his sophomore year that Pharaoh started to realize I wasn't just a pain in the butt, but I was a pain in the butt on a mission to help him succeed. He started coming to me on his own accord during his study hall periods for extra help on reading and writing assignments. And it was during these impromptu tutoring sessions that I was able to see real growth in his academic abilities. My concerns for Pharaoh's success began to disappear with each passing day. I was able to witness his successes, big and small, and watched him rise to new challenges. One of my favorite Pharaoh stories was during his book report presentation in 10th grade ELA, when he gave a highly interesting and entertaining retelling of a murder mystery novel he had read. We're still not sure who wrote it, but what a suspenseful plot. During remote education, Pharaoh and I really started to get to know each other. We bonded over a love of animals, particularly goats, and agricultural topics. I learned that Pharaoh is forward-thinking, often considering which colleges and places in the country had the best and worst property taxes, and that he ultimately wanted to go to school for zoology. I think in many ways, Pharaoh and I were anchors for each other during the school days of remote learning, and I will always thank you for signing in every day, even if you were the only one. Over the years, Pharaoh has taught me many things as an educator. The first is to look deeper beyond what a student chooses to show you at first glance. Many times, students hide in conversations with others or look at unrelated things on the internet because they need help and don't know how to ask. Second, there are never enough sneakers in one's closet. Pharaoh has the coolest sneaker collection ever. And third, and maybe most important, is that above all, love is what is needed to help someone grow. While I might come off as strict, some students figure out that it's just my brand, the kind of love I give in the classroom. And it is also just what they needed to gain the skills and grow as students. I also had the pleasure of speaking with his mother throughout the years, and I can't thank Linda enough for the amazing young man she is raising. She has every reason to be proud, and seeing her love and encouragement over the years truly shines through in who Pharaoh has become and what he's accomplished. Pharaoh's love shows through in his work, his athleticism, his friendships, his hobbies, and his personality. He is always a friendly face in the crowd, and I hope you always keep your glow wherever you go. Congratulations on receiving the ETSRPA Scholarship Award, in addition to your National Technical Honor Society certificate in Animal Science. I could not be more proud. Okay, I'd love to call up Lizzie Jenkins next.
I have my tall shoes on too, so I'm a super. Okay, good evening, teachers, parents, and students. I'd like to start out by thanking the ETSRPA for giving out these scholarships. We all appreciate your generosity. These scholarships will be very helpful to all of us. I'd also like to thank Ms. Fagan. She's the teacher I picked to be here tonight. Ms. Fagan has supported me throughout this entire year, which has been kind of stressful. I took on a few extra classes, but she made it really worth it. Despite her only being my teacher for this 1 year, I really think we got pretty close for the entire year. I wish I had her for more. She supported me and continues to push me, even at the last week of school, which is right now. We have our region soon, but I'm kind of dying out, but she's pushed me a lot, and I really appreciate that. And I know she may not know it, but she has been some of my biggest motivation throughout this entire year to come. We show off our socks to each other, you know, the corgi ones, the alligators, the bees. Really interesting, and I will be forever grateful for all of our conversations. and we look across the room and somebody says something very interesting. And the 7th time there's an announcement during the period and she rolls her eyes because she's been interrupted because of us. And she's been one of my greatest role models, and I can't thank her enough for how much she supports me. So thank you, Ms. Fagan, and thank you to the ETSRPA. I really hope I said that right.
Nailed it.
So I'm actually going to repeat some of the things that Lizzie said in her speech. So I'm actually happy we're on the same wavelength. So first I'd like to congratulate all the scholarship recipients here tonight. And I'd like to say what a special honor it is to be asked to speak on a wonderful night like this. And I want to thank you, Lizzie, for choosing me to speak on your behalf. Just a minute, sorry. Okay. I've had the pleasure of being Lizzie's English teacher for this year and getting to know her. Lizzie is incredibly smart, funny, and insightful. In class, she was always fully engaged in our discussions and the texts we were reading, including Into the Wild, which follows the real-life odyssey of Chris McCandless as he tries to escape the rules and expectations of society and his parents. And she was also very interested in Fitzgerald's American classic, The Great Gatsby. However, in our discussions, it became clear that her engagement was often because she sincerely disagreed with everything that Chris McCandless said and did. She took issue when he attempted to lecture other people about their lives, and she took issue with some of the choices he made. She was also especially vocal in her psychoanalysis of Nick and his feelings for Gatsby, and her disgust for Daisy and Tom's behavior. We also shared a few laughs over Fitzgerald's incessant use of the adjective jaunty. From the very beginning, I knew Lizzie was a great writer and thinker. In her first argumentative essay about teenage social media use, her thesis was nuanced and considered the full complexity of the issue. After reading it, I became extremely excited because I was going to ask her to consider taking college English next year. However, I was soon to find out that she was graduating early and she had English 12 with Ms. Wilson, and I didn't realize that. So the wind was taken swiftly from my sails because I knew she was going to be such a good complement to the class, and she was going to be able to help it monumentally because of her participation in discussion and because of her help, of her ability to help other students in the writing process. I'm still not over it. In fact, I only grew more devastated when she wrote a flawless analysis of an excerpt from Thoreau's Walden, and when she penned her insightful analysis of Fitzgerald's Daisy Buchanan, which impressed me so much that I'm using hers as an exemplar in future years. In fact, her most recent text analysis was so incredibly spectacular that I had to employ the use of the fire emoji 3 times in my comments to her. Moreover, it's like a really cool thing that now Google Classroom lets us do. But anyway, moreover, Lizzie isn't only a gifted student, she's also a wonderful person. There's so much more that I'm going to miss about her than her astute analysis. I'm going to miss Lizzie running into my room to tell me something, or her showing me her socks, and then me excitedly showing her mine. Just picture llamas, pugs with bow ties, corgis with Christmas trees, and sushi. Basically, the sillier the better. I'm going to miss her showing me funny videos on her phone, and I'm going to miss her because she's like having another adult in the room. If something, let's say, especially silly happened in class, I knew that I could look at her and she understood how absurd that moment was. It's this maturity coupled with her genuine work ethic and determination that has allowed her to graduate early, not just because she fulfilled the requirements, but because she truly sought to learn in her years here at Ellenville Central Schools. I have no doubt in my mind that she's going to be wildly successful at SUNY Albany, and she's going to one day become an amazing data analyst. And while I too find Chris McCandless to be frustrating, stubborn, and impulsive, I think there's still some wisdom to be found in his experience and his words. And we most certainly don't have to live it in the way that he did. We can apply this to our lives in whatever way we see fit. So Lizzie, as Chris McCandless said in his February 24th journal entry, it is the experiences, the memories, the great triumphant joy of living to the fullest extent in which real meaning is found. I hope you find joy in living your life to the fullest extent by experiencing all there is to offer. Look for those moments and don't be afraid to seize them. I wish you the best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and I will continue to be one of your biggest cheerleaders. Thank you.
Lizzie, can you come on up and pick this up? Great. So we're going to have Alex Pauly up next, and Coach Reed. Make this a little bit better.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, before I start, I want to thank the ETSRPA for granting all of us this scholarship. These next few years will be very tough financially, so we really do appreciate all the help we receive. Here at Ellenville, we are blessed with such a great staff who go out of their way every day to make school the best experience possible for our students. While I've been fortunate enough to be taught by many great teachers and coaches, one that stands out more than the rest is Mr. Mead. My relationship with Mr. Mead is unique in that I was not only a student in the classroom, but also on the field. During the day, he would teach me about proper nutrition and health class, while in the afternoon, we'd be working on my foot skills and finishing. But most importantly, he taught me the values that I want to live my life by. Hard work, commitment, fighting through adversity, teamwork, respect, and kindness. These are all lessons plus many more that I have learned during my time with Mr. Mead. I have gained more life lessons playing the sport I love under his guidance than anything else. His teachings go way farther than on the field, as after every season I felt that I came out not only a better player, but also a better person. Looking back on my soccer career here at Ellenville High School, I have achieved many personal accolades, but without a doubt my biggest and most important accomplishment was being able to help Coach Mead win his first sectional championship. If you ask any one of his former players, they will all say there isn't a coach in the world that deserves the amount of praise as Mr. Mead. So to be able to finally bring home a championship for him after spending around 8 years under his guidance is something that I will treasure for the rest of my life. He truly has affected my life and many others in such a positive way, and I will never forget the lessons and memories I have made with him.
Just for quick reference, that's the one kid who would pay attention when I taught to the team, so I appreciate that. I've been truly, truly blessed to work with a lot of really talented players and athletes, and the last couple of years it's been like just an absolute gift to me to have not just this year's senior class, but last year as well, and having so many great role models and kids that even after they leave and they graduate, and it's sad to see them go, but you're really happy because you know they're going into the world and they're going to do really great things. And Alex is one of those kids. He's a talented soccer player who is definitely very passionate about what he does. He loves the game of soccer. He reminds me a lot of me when I was younger, just wanting to absorb as much as I possibly could and work as hard as I could to try to get better. For any of us, the most important thing that we can do in our life is find our passion, find the thing that drives you to get out of bed every day and want to be better, whether it's sports, music, literature, or any other trade skill that you can learn that's going to get you through your life. That's something that's really important, to find your passion. So just a couple things about Alex. I have some records here that I will share because Alex is graduating now as the career assist leader in our soccer program. So in the last, we've been playing soccer in Ellenville since the 1930s, and having gone through all the record books, we were able to compile a list that Alex is now number 1. He's also graduating top 10 in career goals. And something I just realized yesterday, in terms of assists in a season, he's in the top 10 twice, and he's the only player to ever achieve that feat. So that's pretty impressive. So if we want to talk about who Alex is, I think the fact that he's our now career program leader and assist is really what he's all about, helping others, right? He came to me as an elementary student when I started doing a winter clinic for futsal. And usually it's 6th grade. There's a couple 5th graders that Mr. Dom says, hey, you know, take a look at these kids that love soccer, get them going. I get them going. Alex came to me as maybe even a 4th grader. And this shy kid shows up and he says, you know, do you think I could stay and maybe just play a little bit? And I couldn't say no to the place. So I said, well, stick around. Let's see how you do against these kids. I mean, it's anywhere up to an 8th grader that he's playing with. And he went out there and just blew me away. This tiny little kid, great skill, one of the better touches on the field. And afterwards I asked him, hey, do you think you can play with this group? He said, yeah. I said, I think you can too. Come every week. And the rest, as they say, is history. So we have this kid who loves to assist others, whether it was showing up to help at the tournament, whether it's helping at Ed Jacobs. We had our alumni game this year. It was supposed to be Saturday night, it got rained out. Sunday morning rolls around, the alumni are there. And I asked the players, hey, you know, come to this, come help out. We had one player show up to help out, Alex. He officiated the game, all right? I mean, that's just what he does. But when we talk about Alex, it's also really important for me to mention practice attendance. I went and pulled practice attendance. His sophomore year, he only missed one day, and I had to look it up. There was an optional practice that I think we had like goalkeepers come to, and that was about it. His freshman year, he made it to every practice. His junior year, through a pandemic, every practice. His senior year, every practice. I counted up the days of just varsity soccer alone, and it's just under 180 days, or half of a year of his life that he dedicated solely to our varsity program. Right? We have more kids that will miss more days during preseason than Alex has missed in his entire career here. And the one day that he took off was probably one where I said, no, you don't have to come today, go home and rest, you need rest. It's a really impressive feat, and it's no wonder he's on this list so many times. If you put in the time and find your passion, the rest of it takes care of itself. So for Alex to come in and be here, and he said 8 years, and he's not kidding. I've been fortunate enough to coach him and teach him and be a part of his life for the last 8 years. And it's something that I'm very proud of when a kid reaches this point in his career, and I can look at him and say, this is a great kid, and I think I had something to do with that. And that makes me proud. So we have some other stuff that, you know, I'll share quickly, but we'll talk more about it, next 10 days from now in the athletic banquet. His senior year was impressive. As he said, he was part of a team that probably, in my mind, ended up being the best team in Section 9 Class B, and we're just a little unlucky when we got to playoffs. But he was voted as one of the top players in all of Section 9 this year. And again, I just go back to the hard work piece, that he was here every day, he found his passion, and he put in the work for that. But the other thing that I'm really proud of, and he mentioned, was that sectional championship. Not necessarily that we won, but we had a really talented team, and Alex, being a very, very good player, actually kind of took a back seat. There's no ego, right? He just took a back seat, and he knew we had Gavin, Karshar, Brandon Guba, Chris Leone. We had a whole slew of tremendous players. And Alex was right in the mix as being one of the prime players on that team. But he just kind of quietly took a back seat, let them grab the headlines, take the accolades, and just kind of put his head down, worked hard and did what he had to do, and was a big reason why we were able to control the midfield and win as many games as we did. And maybe he didn't put up the same numbers as some of those seniors, but he was right back to it this year when the team needed him more so than ever. So I'll leave you with a quick note on leadership, because everybody can watch a team and perceive leadership as something very different. And Alex has been one of the better leaders that we've had come through our program because he does the right thing consistently. He doesn't have to yell at the other players. He doesn't have to do anything more. The kid won't even talk himself up at all. All right? But if you put your head down and work hard, the people who need to pay attention and need to notice, they notice. Right? And that's something that, for me, I'm extremely proud of, is that he has developed into this great leader who has set the bar so high in our program for this next generation of players to try to achieve. So just one last quick thing. I was going through the notes and there was a contradicting number. One place I had him at 39 assists, the other at 40, which is the career record. And I texted him the other day and I said, I just went through everything. I had to go back and double check. You actually have 40 career assists, not 39. I said, Coach, I know. I thought maybe there was a mistake in there. I said, why didn't you say something? It would have saved me a lot of time. Coach, I didn't want to. So the kid was so humble that he didn't even want to say, hey, you shortened me 1 assist here. So that's Alex. And for that, Alex, for being such a great kid, thank you and congratulations.
Okay, all right. Let's say hello and welcome Ms. Ireland Travis.
As a recipient of this award, I would like to start off by saying that I am honored. Throughout my years at Allenville, I have developed relationships with people who have encouraged me to pursue my dreams while also inculcating the importance of hard work and dedication. One person in particular has inspired me and touched me in ways that have helped me shape me into who I am today and who I will become in the future. This person holds an important place in my life and has helped me grow throughout my high school years. This person is Miss Allen. Miss Allen is a guidance counselor in the high school, and she's also a varsity girls field hockey coach. I met Miss Allen for the first time on the first day of preseason going into my freshman year. I remember walking into the first day of practice and thinking, wow, she is terrifying. Little did I know that in that exact moment was going to be the start of a special relationship and some of the most enjoyable years of my life. Field hockey has always served as an escape for me, something that I enjoy doing. In saying that, attending practice has always been the highlight of my day. I felt as if I finally belonged somewhere and had someone that I could confide in. Being a part of the field hockey team was a wonderful experience that I will hold on to for the rest of my life. This is not only because of the love that I have for the sport, but because of the role model I had while participating in the sport. Miss Allen has always made it her top priority to tend to her girls. She ensured a safe, fun, and comfortable environment while also demonstrating the defining qualities every good person has, such as empathy, responsibility, patience, kindness, and leadership. Miss Allen has always been there whenever I needed her. She's been the person that I go to when I need advice on academics, athletics, and just life in general. Whenever I had a question about a play, my skill set, my grades, or upcoming events, she was there. Miss Allen has been the light at the end of the tunnel. Whenever I found myself lost in life's hardships, she's helped me reflect on what truly matters. She's opened numerous doors for me, pushing me to work harder towards my future ambitions and future capabilities. When I think of Miss Allen, I see beyond the school guidance counselor and the coach. I see someone who is selfless, faithful, and compassionate. Someone who is healthy for the soul and good for the heart. I'm very appreciative of all that she's done for me, and I know that she will always be someone that I can count on.
again. Here we go. So I'm gonna start this again because there's some speaking points in here that I want to make sure that you guys hear. So hi everybody. If you didn't know, I was also the recipient of this award. It was called the ETS at one time, but of course it's now the ETSRPA, as we said that a couple more times. I'm again feeling very humbled. This is a nostalgic kind of moment for me, and I'm excited to be here. So to our president, Brian Bonnets, my ETSRPA family, the administration and Board of Education members, friends, families, and our distinguished guests of honor. I am humbled again to be here, to be standing here, having this opportunity to honor the wonderful, the multifaceted, the multi-talented Harlan Travis. So, I don't have children. I can only believe that it's God's will, and if that ends up changing somewhere in my 51 years, I don't know what's going to happen, but if it happens, someone shoot me. But I have to be, it reminds me that recently that while I don't have kids, the kids that are in my world and in my circle are really my kids. Even though I'm not their biological parent, I love them as a fellow man. So our families are entrusting us with making sure that they're going to be okay, which is great. Helping them to find their truths as they navigate our school. And I'm excited because if I had a daughter, I would want her to be exactly like her. Blonde? No. Okay. Anyway, so I need to extend a major thank you to her parents, Kelly and Francis, for allowing me for 4 years of entrusting me with her. Thank you for allowing me again to borrow her for the last 4 years, and thank you for entrusting me again with the opportunity to assist her as she navigates this world that we're living in. So for me, Ireland is special. I have a feeling that this is not going to be the last time I'm going to be speaking about you, in about 10 days. But I'd never take any moment to speak about someone for granted, because this is, again, one of those opportunities I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly what I know about. So, if I weren't here to speak, I would still be here to celebrate the students that are a part of this, because this is an important scholarship for our unit. So, let's talk field hockey. So this is all important. I think you understand what I'm saying. So, I believe that you eat, you sleep, and you breathe field hockey. I believe that you are a 4-year starter for me and a 2-year captain of my varsity team. As a 2-year captain, that's definitely not a normal thing. But for you, that was a special thing because of who you are. You're a Section 9 3-time first team All-Star. We want to make sure that that's very clear in this unit where it's very, very competitive. To have someone stand out in our league with our team that has not had the most success, obviously there's something about it. And for me, you are the embodiment of perfection, because when you're stepping on a field, that something's different about that, and I'm going to have a hard time trying to fix that. So you have a scrappy, aggressive style. I hope this sentence is not crazy. When you're stepping into your passing lanes, you're able to intercept the passes, and you're able to just defensively find the way to distribute the ball in the way that it needs to be done. You have amazing stick work. You have agility, your speed, your vision, which makes you, again, a lethal weapon. And no matter the position that you play, I'm thinking you probably could have also been goalie. But for me, you are the quintessential midfielder. Because you just run for days. I get tired just thinking of you running. So the next part, again, is a little long-winded. You have extremely accurate and ridiculously strong flicks, and display a keen sense and ability to see the field and anticipate the movements of both your competitors and your teammates, which has led to pinpoint accuracy, has led to golden opportunities for goals and other things for our students to be able to finish and to do what they're expected to do. Your one-on-one skills have allowed you to beat defenders with ease. I'm going to call that the broken ankle effect. I think we've all seen that. You're watching a basketball game, or you're watching a field game, and all of a sudden someone's making a move, and that person goes the other way because they have been sucked out like that, which I think is amazing. I think I've found myself laughing a couple times, but that's really not supposed to happen. That's weird, right? Sorry. Anyway, so I firmly believe that you are, again, one of the main reasons why we have been a consistent divisional contender. The outcome has not been what we've always wanted them to be, but it's because of you that we were even there to even talk about. So what does all of this mean? I'm glad I'm getting there. So it means that you are an impact player. And what that means is that you make and you create and you leave an impact every single time that you step on the field. And soon New Paltz, whether they know it or not, I'm hoping that you'll be able to pursue that they're getting something very special. I know that you are going to be pursuing your degree in chemistry and business. I believe that's what we talked about. And I know that you're unsure if you want to play, but if you're able to walk on, sky's the limit, I'll be right there waiting for you. So you are ranked 11th in your class. You are a recipient of the Mid-Hudson Athletic League Senior Scholarship Award. You are a member, of course, of the National Honor Society. So as an athlete, your stats for us, they are what they are, but you have 37. For me, that's fantastic in terms of 37 points, 15 goals, and 7 assists. And now imagine if you had someone that was able to distribute as you distribute to others, which helped you, and also with the Section 9 and Division titles for the Untitled Track and Field, which, again, shows the embodiment of what you're able to do as an athlete, not just being a one-stop shop with regard to sports. Individually, you are the record holder for the girls 3,000 meter run. Again, running. I'm still on top. So, as a student, the first words that come to my mind when I think about you are you're clever, you're cutting edge, and you're also remarkable. I've witnessed an exceptional attention to detail, and you're able to do the things sometimes without even kind of thinking about it. It just happens. Even though you're not in my caseload, you're still mine. You challenge yourself by taking the most rigorous courses at the Ellenville Senior High School. You are a participant in the collegiate program, the SUNY Ulster with SUNY Ulster, the Super with Syracuse University, and you chose to pursue the early college program at SUNY Ulster this year, which is allowing you to experience college for the first time and to have that as something that you can aspire to move on. So I'm going to call what you have the it factor. Okay? So many aspire to have it. Many attempt to acquire it. Many think they already have it. We know those people are, right? And mostly, I think most recently, many are still trying to buy it. So whatever it is, you have it, and I'm hoping that others can see it. You have talent that's seeping from the pores. You are formidable, you are remarkable, you are exceptional, you are fierce, you are fearless, and you are absolutely fantastic. And I guess that's a little alliteration for your living pleasure. You have limitless potential. You're amazing, and again, you just have it. So this is for you. You are the example of excellence, both on and off the playing field. That will be difficult to emulate. And definitely difficult to replace. Soon New Paltz again is getting something very special. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your dedication and your devotion to field hockey and to our program. I agree with Maya Angelou when she said, I've learned that you can tell a lot about a person by the way that he or she handles 3 things. A rainy day, right? Lost luggage, and tangled Christmas lights. So for me, my mom says that we learn a lot about a person by their treatment of others. So, right from the beginning, thank you for embracing the younger athletes. Not many do that. Thank you for doing that. Because they will hopefully strive to greatness and success because you are you. Thank you for your smile. Thank you for your laugh, your leadership, and of course for just being you. So, I'm going to leave you with, may you always walk with purpose. May you always play with passion, and I really hope that you do. May you always leave an impact, and may your efforts make everyone remember your name. I wish you success, and good luck in your very, very bright future. I'm going to miss you.
I have something funny to say, but I'm choosing not to say it. No, I'm not going to do it. I mean, 51? You won this award in 1989? 88? Wow. This town definitely had the hit factor, for sure. All right, let's see. We got Miss Cindy Cranston coming up next, and Mr. Ganchuk will be speaking.
Good evening. I would like to say thank you to the Elementary Teachers and School-Related Professional Association for awarding me the scholarship. It is an honor to receive this award. I know how dedicated the entire staff at Elmville are to the students. I especially want to thank both of my parents for always supporting me and encouraging me to always do my best and to never give up. In the fall, I will be attending Harvard College, majoring in nursing, and playing women's soccer. When Mr. Barnes was explaining to us that we were chosen to receive this scholarship and that we would get to choose someone to speak on our behalf, I immediately thought to Ms. D. I sent her a text message immediately after we left the meeting. Where do I begin? Ms. D was my 6th grade teacher. She is a teacher that shows up to concerts or special events with flowers for her students. She's that teacher who goes and watches her students during sporting events and cheers them on. She's a teacher that goes above and beyond to make you feel good about yourself, whether it has been a good or a bad day. She's just that teacher that makes school fun. And oh, by the way, thank you for letting some of us take breaks in the room during our warm-ups for indoor track. Being here after me. Miss D, thank you for everything, not just for being my teacher in 6th grade, but for everything outside of school. I miss you.
Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here standing in front of all of you, sharing this special evening, celebrating these amazing scholarship recipients. Bravo to you all. So proud of you. Tonight, I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of Susie Cranston, a remarkable and talented young lady that I had the opportunity to get to know way before she was a student in my 6th grade class. Sydney, let's go back. Let's go way back. I remember meeting a little blonde munchkin with boundless energy when she was just a toddler. Right away, we had a lot in common. We both loved animals and soccer. Hey Sid, do you remember this book? She's like, yes, I don't know what she does. You brought this book over to my house and you placed it along with a purple blanket in the guest room, claiming that the bedroom was yours and the book was for bedtime. That book stayed there until now. Whenever you would come visit, my German Shepherd Apollo would follow you into the den and watch TV there with you on the couch, like 2 peas in a pod. When you would leave, you would run up and down the length of the house and he would run right with you to watch over you, never letting you out of his sight. You always had a special way with animals, and you still do. I reminisce when I would go watch you play soccer at Jacobs, when the ball was almost as big as you were. Yep, those were the days. Then, 6th grade comes along, and I have the absolute pleasure of being a teacher. All I can say is, best school year ever. Some other recipients might remember that year too. Remember the 3-foot Apollo plush dog our class treated as a mascot? I would even make him outfits and costumes to wear. Remember fighting over the 4 seat cushions on a daily basis? How about the Halloween piñata that was a horse that the class named Poncho, and one of you took the head home? Sid, I saved some of the writing pieces you wrote during that year, and it helped give me some insight into the young woman who were becoming. Don't worry, I have them all right here with me. One piece, a personal narrative, was about your favorite memory. You wrote about when you got your first dog, Rocco, and how he was your best friend. You also displayed your love for all animals when you wrote an argument essay on whether or not humans should be able to care for exotic animals. You stated that you believed humans should be allowed to keep these animals because every animal deserves a chance to be in a home where they are loved and cared for. In another piece, when writing about whether cell phones should be allowed in school or not, you stated that you did believe that cell phones should be allowed in school, but that phones, and I quote, should be kept in lockers so that students can focus more on their schoolwork rather than focusing on texting in class. Sid, I wonder if you feel that way now. One final memory from that unforgettable year is when we watched Big Red and her 3 baby red-tailed hawks grow from when they hatched until they flew away from the nest and never came back. I told you all to cry, and I did. So of course, we know that it wasn't only about those hawks growing up, spreading their wings and flying away. In my head and in my heart, I knew that you kids were growing up and leaving the pursued as well. Sid, ever since I met you, you've been this summer. In fact, when you were in 6th grade, you wrote down a goal, and yes, again, I have that right here. Your goal was that you were working towards being able to play on the JV soccer team before reaching high school. Well, guess what? You crunched that goal. You played on the JV team in 8th grade and played on the varsity team your very first year in high school. You attained that goal, and you've been crushing goals on and off the field ever since. In your passion, soccer, you were Rookie of the Year your freshman year. You've been named to the Section 9 Class B, All-Section, and All-State teams. And you've topped all school records for most career goals, most career points, and most goals scored in a single season, claiming your right to hang a banner and join the ranks among the greatest eligible athletes of all time. What a distinction. This fall, you are going to be taking the field for the first time with the Hartford Hawks. And Sid, they're lucky to have you. Keep making goals, working to meet them, and then exceeding them. I know that you can do it, and if you ever need any help or advice along the way, please know that I'm here for you always. I'm going to leave you with a few parting words that I want you to hold close to your heart. Behind you, all your memories. Before you, all your dreams. Around you, all who love you. And within you, all you need. And that's it. I love you.
Next up, we have Ms. Julia Connor, and followed by Ms. Gillette.
Hi everyone. First I'd like to thank the teacher union for awarding me the scholarship. It really is an honor to be receiving it. So today I am going to be telling you all about a woman that not only has blossomed confidence in myself, but also the one to keep going no matter how difficult it may get. In middle school, I loved chorus. It was my favorite class ever. And not only was it because I liked to sing, but it was also because of the course director, and that was Mrs. Gillette. She was always positive and brought a smile to my face. One day during the lesson, Mrs. Gillette looked at me and said, "Would you be interested in going to NISMA?" NISMA is a solo festival where kids perform a piece of music in front of a judge and get graded based on their performance and will determine if they go on to sing in either all-county, area all-state, or all-state chorus. Of course, being the youthful, excited person I was, of course I said yes. On our way to Kingston, where the festival was being held, I started to get a little nervous. Performing in front of a judge is very nerve-wracking, especially for a young 8th grader. Right before I was about to go into the room, I had a panic attack, which led to a breakdown right before I was about to go into the classroom. Mrs. Gillette was my pianist for my piece, and she knelt down to me as I was continuously saying, "I don't want to go in, I don't want to go in." She looked at me and said, "Julia, I wouldn't have brought you here if I didn't think you could do it. Even if you mess up, you'll more than likely never see that woman again in your life. So don't think this will determine the fate of the music career. You're a great singer and you are prepared, and that's what you need. Now you just need confidence, you can do it." I got up and after wiping off my mascara, of course, I went in and performed my piece. A couple days later, Mrs. Gillette comes up to me before chorus and showed me my grade for the festival, and I got a 4 out of 5. With that score, I qualified for all county, and I was so proud of myself. And she was proud of me, which made me feel even better about myself. Now, fast forward a year, and I'm in the same situation as I was before. I decided to go to NISMA again, and I wanted Miss Gillette as my pianist again, because in all honesty, I did have a feeling I was going to have another breakdown, and I only wanted her with me if that were to occur. And of course it did. My prediction was correct, because that's just my luck. She looked down at me again and says, "You've gotten too far to try and back out now. You know your ability, so show them. And so I did just that. Because I was a freshman at the time, I was then graded out of 100, which made me even more nervous. But when I got my score back, it was a 97, allowing me once again to go to all county. Because of those lessons I continuously went to, like, singing isn't as easy as some people may think to just go la 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 la. It takes actual diction and tonation to make a good singer. And because of those continuous lessons, it allowed me to be a good singer. So junior year, we had to do it online because of COVID. And of course I wanted to go again because I was like, great, it won't be as bad. I was wrong again. Beforehand, I did have my breakdown, and Ms. Gillette looked at me and said, it's okay, it's only a video. You could be in front of a judge, but you're not, you're okay. So I sucked it up and performed. I was very nervous to get my grade, especially with it being a video. Yeah, you can do it again, but I decided I didn't want to do that. I was not going to go through that again. So I just sent it in, even if it was bad. When I got it back, I almost fell over when I saw I scored a 98 out of 100. And it is 1 point better, which is always a great improvement. But it not only qualified me for all county, but it qualified me for area all state, where I got to represent the school among other schools, some I haven't even heard of. It was really an honor, but I wouldn't have gotten this far without Mrs. Gillette. To be honest, I would not have gone into those judging rooms or stood in front of the camera if it were not for her. She is my inspiration and someone I aspire to be when I get older. Without her, I would not be where I am today. Congratulations on your retirement, Mrs. Gillette. Thank you for being a part of my life throughout my middle school and high school career. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to congratulate all of tonight's recipients. Your hard work and dedication throughout high school has paid off. We are all very proud of you and can't wait to see what you've accomplished in life as eligible alumni. Tonight I'm going to speak about Julia Connor. I have known Julia since the 6th grade when I gave her trumpet lessons and she sang in my chorus. She has been an integral part of our musical groups through middle and high school in the past 4 years. She has been a member of festival choir, chamber singers, concert band, jazz band. She has been featured with many solos and lead parts in the musicals. Julia has also participated in the musical solo competition, county chorus, and area all-state. She is one of the department's shining stars. She is our go-to person if we need anything to get done, because we can always count on her. Music is not her only passion. Julia has been on the varsity soccer, track, and golf teams. She is a member of student council, chemistry, yearbook, and drama clubs. If that's not enough to keep her busy, she has juggled part-time jobs while taking college-level classes and is ranked 7th in her class. Julia is an impressive student. What is more impressive is the person that she is. I asked several of her classmates to come up with words to describe her. Hardworking, honest, outgoing, confident, kind, supportive, the descriptions that I heard over and over again. I have seen Julia time and time again encouraging students right before an audition or concert to be their best. When Julia walks in the room, I immediately smile. I know she's going to have a story and tell me exactly what's on her mind. She is smart, resilient, and if you know anything about her, she can be quite sassy. She is not afraid of a challenge or to speak up for what she believes in. Julia has a bright future ahead of her. I have no doubt that she will accomplish anything she puts her mind to. Julia, thank you for asking me to speak for you tonight. What a special way for me to end my career, talking about one of my absolute favorite students. Thank you for always ending every conversation we have with, love you, Mrs. Gillette. You will always hold a special place in my heart. Love you, Julia.
Let's say hello to Mr. Matthew Hudson. And Ms. Bonnie Gant will be speaking.
Good evening. When I was presented with this scholarship, I was told I had a selected teacher who impacted me during my academic years. I had to take a moment and reflect back on all the incredible staff I was fortunate to have supported me, including teachers, coaches, security guards, and counselors. But for me, I believe the teacher who left the biggest influence on me would have to be Miss Linda. I could go on forever talking about how great she is as a person, but what makes her stand out from the rest was her way of teaching. With her upbeat personality, she's able to teach any subject and make it easy to understand for everybody in the class. Not only does her teaching make things easy to follow, it also brings a positive learning environment in the classroom where everyone is brought together into a memorable class and school year. When it came to life lessons, there were so many things I learned from just being in her class. However, there's one that I'll always hold on to going forward in life. And that is, you don't have to be the best. You should always be your best. I learned that there's going to be people who might be smarter and better at some things than you. But as long as you bring your best efforts, that's what truly matters. And what will make you stand out above others. To conclude, I'd like to thank you again for making my academic experience memorable and showing me that I'm able to accomplish anything I put my mind and heart into. Thank you.
Wow. Good evening, everybody. It is my honor and privilege to stand here before my colleagues, so many of my former students, and speak tonight. As an elementary teacher, we seldom get the opportunity to be a part of the last years of their education. But we hope to play an important role in the foundation of these students' lives. We teach the mandated curriculum, including 4th grade, American Revolution, science, all while trying to instill the love of learning, respect for others, and help build those lasting memories that are so important for their childhood school years. I am honored that Matthew has chosen me to speak for him tonight. Matthew walked into my classroom, my 4th grade classroom, in the fall of 2013. His bright, beautiful smile, the light up the room, still does. He was a snappy dresser, first day of school. I pulled out his class picture, remembered that bright purple shirt he wore with the tie, best dressed in the class. I had felt like I had already known Matthew from working with his adoring grandfather, Andy Hilgeson, on 4th grade curriculum, 4th grade field trips. Andy spoke about his boy like no other. Matthew, we all know he's somewhere right now, beaming with absolute pride at this very moment and all the moments in your future. When remembering back and speaking with colleagues about Matthew, the sentiment is exactly the same. Matt is truly a great kid, one that every teacher hopes to have. Matthew has been described as the quiet leader type. He leads by example. Every one of his elementary teachers, Mrs. Matrician, who's lucky to have him in kindergarten first, Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Hannington, myself, and Mrs. Muley are in agreement, as evidenced by his report cards, that he is a pleasure to have in class. Mrs. Dre nailed it in his 1st grade report card. She said, Matthew is a sweet and caring boy. Although these seem like typical comments, it describes him exactly. He shows these qualities in so many different ways. This caring and sweet boy grew up volunteering in the Special Olympics with his dad. This caring and sweet young man has continued to volunteer with the soccer coach, Mr. Mead, in many capacities. Matthew is a student who's persevered at a very young age and worked through his academics all throughout his elementary years. Perseverance probably came from some of his studies in Taekwondo, where he earned a black belt. And he had the opportunity to learn in Korea, which is pretty amazing. Soccer has been a huge part of his Mets high school years. I would be remiss not to mention it. But I'm not going to pretend that I am an expert at soccer at all, so I reached out to his coach, Mr. Meade, for some words. He started his junior year as the backup keeper, but when the starter was unable to play, Matt stepped in and played tremendously. His first career win was at home against Go, a key division game that eventually allowed them to jump ahead and earn a spot in the postseason tournament. Matt is a sectional champion, making huge saves in the final against a talented and scoring Liberty team. In his senior year, Matt helped anchor the defense and finish the season with 7 shutouts, third all-time in school history for shutouts in a season. Additionally, Matt finishes his career second all-time in career shutouts with 11. He ends his career with 107 saves and a bar set really high for the next group of keepers coming through. Matthew plans to attend Dutchess Community College in the fall, where he'll major in aviation science. No doubt that he will be successful in his career, soaring literally and figuratively. Matthew, you are not just a pleasure to have in class, you're a true pleasure to just know. Congratulations and best of luck.
Looking down at this list, and I realized I probably should have asked some of these students how to say their last names. Sorry if I messed it up. So we have Rachel Cataldo. Nailed it, yes. And Mr. Andy Grigliano speaking. Come on up, Rachel.
Hello everyone. Before we begin, I would just like to take a moment to thank the ETSRPA for their generosity in granting these scholarships, their amazing faculty, administration, and last but not least, I'd like to thank Mr. Bergogliano. Bridge is a very specific person. He likes apple fritters, but not the turnovers. They're too messy. He coaches based on effort. If the work isn't put in, you're not running. And he cares for each and every athlete exponentially, regardless of athletic ability or talent. He pushes me to be my best. He assures me that any doubts I may have regarding my performance are all in my head. Briggs not only pushed me to fully dedicate myself to track and field, but he leads by example. He dedicates time on his weekends, after school, and even missing out on time with his child, Camden, for years to help me work with my hammer throw. He never displays disappointment if I don't perform my best. He never singles athletes out, regardless of only praising their accomplishments. He goes to throwing meets in 95-degree weather just to see me happy. He's out till 2 in the morning after taking us to meets in the city so we can grow as athletes. He's one of the most selfless people I know, and I can say in full confidence that if it weren't for his guidance over these past 4 years, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I may never say or show it, but you have made one of the biggest impacts on my life, and I will be forever grateful. Thank you again to everyone here tonight, the ETSRPA and Mr. Grigliano.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to start out by saying it's such a great group of kids to be here. I started working with this group my very first year here at Elmville when they were first graders. So being able to see them get to this point is pretty awesome. And then looking at the list while I was here, I didn't even realize 9 of you I had the privilege of coaching in high school. So I think that speaks a lot to the ability and the kind of kids we have here at Elmville to be able to see you guys grow and continue to be here. So like I said, I knew Rachel, since first grade in Mrs. Kavanaugh's class. And when I first saw her sign up freshman year for track, I was like, that's that girl that always dressed in the fancy clothes because she was in dance and didn't want to sit on the gym floor because it was too dirty. I'm like, how is this girl going to be a thrower and have to touch all the dirty, heavy objects? But she jumped right in and really did a great job. She always was someone that did softball growing up, so Mom, sorry for taking your daughter away from the sport that you played, and which I didn't know until, the last couple weeks of us going to so many meets and you being there, how much softball you played and how much you loved it, so sorry for taking your daughter away from that. So I saw potential right off the start, and I told her that first year, I said, hey, I think this could be a ticket for you to get to college, to do it, because it was right that first couple weeks of teaching that weird event. The weight it's strange. It doesn't score. Not everybody throws it. Hammer's even less of a chance to be able to throw it. So for her to commit to something that doesn't always get appreciated, it's tough. And it took her friends convincing her, and she finally came out for spring track, even though I don't coach spring track until just last year, and she would beg me every day when she walked past the baseball field, like, hey Greg, is you going to be able to go throw hammer? When we throw hammer? Can we throw hammer? And for 4 years she's been that hard worker and that constant thorn in my side to say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this. She's always in the weight room. She worked hard all off season. Like she said, the weekend practices, we'll get done here at school, I'll go home and I'll have dinner, I'll grab Camden, my son, which, as she mentioned, he'll come down and he'll hang out with us while she throws weight. He loves walking out there at 2 years old, dragging her hammer and pulling it back in. He's a big superhero fan now, and she thankfully taught him how to do Doctor Strange's hand motion, and now he adds one more to his repertoire, so I appreciate you teaching him something like that. She's a constant sport with sportsmanship. Even just last night, she alluded to our 95 degrees. It wasn't 95, it was 94. If it was 95, we would not be allowed to be there. Every girl that throws the hammer and gets, a PR and pushes her a little bit more, it's always, clapping for these girls she doesn't know. And she's always like, I like that girl, she's fun, she'll talk to me in line. She's constantly that person. The accomplishments, a lot of you referenced it with the other girls that were on the track team. This group won multiple section titles, and she played huge roles in that. Just her freshman year, I was thinking about that, as I've been waiting to speak. We ended up tying Sullivan West, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're still section champions, and it came right down to the very end. When it's that close, every point matters. And she comes over and she's like, "Hey, Griggs, I PR'd and I got fourth, and I'm a meticulous planner and I score all these meets out." And I'm like, okay, 1 point in weight, Rachel will hopefully get sixth, hopefully we can hang on. And she comes over and tells me that, and I looked her right in the eyes, I was like, you just won us the section championship. And that was a freshman, and I still remember her being like, completely, thrown off that I said that to her. And since then, she's continued to work, continued to grind to get to where she was. And then this year, she's the top girl in Section 9, and Section 9 decided we're not going to do a section championship this year. So she lost her chance to be the weight throw section champion. But she didn't let that deter her. She worked her tail off, and hopefully she's got 2 more chances. She's continuing to work to try to make nationals one more time. She made nationals indoor. She got a medal at a national event, which is an awesome honor. We've only had a few people that have been able to do that here at Ellenville. And she joins that list, and hopefully she hits 7 more feet. She knows that, and then she gets another opportunity to go to nationals in a couple weeks. I look forward to seeing what she can do at the next level. She is going to St. Rose to throw the hammer and the weight with one of her former teammates, and one of those teammates that talked her into sticking with track. And I can't wait to see what she does. And thank you, Rachel, for working hard all these years and helping make me look good at the end of the day. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Walter Evans, you're up next.
I want to start off by saying that I'm very grateful for this opportunity to receive the scholarship from the ETSRPA. I'm grateful for being chosen by the many teachers and staff here at Ellenville who have helped and guided me throughout my life and whom I deeply respect. One of these teachers is Mrs. Schoonmaker. I haven't known her for all that long, as this is my first year being her student, but she has been one of the best teachers that I've ever had. College bio is no easy subject, and Mrs. Schoonmaker made the information easy to understand and bearable. There's a lot of it to process. Throughout those school years, she pushed us to work nonstop, constantly. This was possible partly for the fact that we didn't really speak much for the entire first semester, but we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. At least once a day, she'd make fun of us for being so quiet. You never thought a teacher would say that, but anyway. When the second semester rolled around, we were a lot more social as a class, and I got to get to know her a lot better. Just recently, we actually got her to learn how to play Kahoot, and that was a big mistake as me and Alex Polly asked her at least 4 times a day to play. So every now and then we are successful in persuading her, but not every time. Ms. Schoonmaker has made a difficult class very enjoyable, and I could say that is probably my favorite class I've ever been in. I don't know if I could say the same for the rest of the class though, as she does give a lot of tests, but Ms. Schoonmaker not letting us slack off has helped me prepare for college in many ways. She keeps class moving and wants us to be productive at all times, and I actually had to study for this class, so that was fun. Ms. Schoonmaker is teaching a college class, but she is much more caring than any college professor that I will meet in my future. She's always there to answer any questions that we have, no matter how dumb, and yes, we ask some dumb questions quite frequently, especially during lab periods. My lab group is responsible for almost all of them, and definitely requires the most adult supervision. We try to keep the injuries to a minimum, but we have had a few cuts with the scalpel, but we don't talk about those. If we do not understand any of the material, she is always there to help us in any way that she can, even if it's explaining it 12 times over before it clicks. Ms. Schoonmaker is a great teacher and a great person, and I'm grateful to have had her in my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to defend myself just a little bit because, and I'm not going to use that microphone, but I feel like I need to defend myself a little bit because I do have to give a lot of tests because it's a college class. 2, they don't speak. They're right. They do not speak, and I will talk about that in the speech. 3, Kahoot, I don't know who created this monster, but I'm now like, I just got barraged in the dinner line asking me if I'll make Kahoot for the final exam. I don't know if I can sell Ulster on that, but I don't know that we're going to go in that direction. So I'm sorry it was hard. I'm sorry that we made you work, but I feel like that's kind of the job. So we did what we could. Good evening, parents, friends, families, administrators, Board of Education members, and my fellow members of the ETSRPA. And a huge welcome and congratulations to our ETSRPA scholarship recipients. It is my pleasure to speak here today on behalf of Walter Evans, co-president of the Untitled Chapter of National Honor Society, the class of 2022 Salutatorian, a Section 9 all-star football player, captain of the wrestling team, and one of the 2 students representing Ellenville as a Mid-Hudson Athletic League scholar athlete. It is truly an impressive list, making it wholly apparent that Walter is well-rounded, an accomplished individual, and worthy of our recognition. As you can imagine, this school year has been fraught with challenges as we all attempt to return to post-COVID normal, including addressing content gaps, dusting off in-class learning and study strategies, and figuring out how to engage in face-to-face instruction when wearing masks, and then when not wearing masks. It's been a roller coaster ride of a school year, to say the least. Regardless of these obstacles, Walter has continued to excel, both in and out of the classroom. Walter is a no-excuses type of student, and has set the bar high for himself. He is much like ducks one sees on a pond, placid, effortless on top of the water. They look relaxed and serene, but clearly, like the ducks, there's a lot going on underneath. As a student, I find Walter to be thorough and inquisitive. As a part of my college bio class, he's demonstrated that he's highly organized. He consistently is prepared for class and performs well. Consequently, I think it's usually, not always, but usually, easy for Walter to concentrate on a lecture. I know, like some days,
It's hard topics. But he really does pick up key ideas well. He can focus on new concepts, and he's really capable of taking that new information and synthesizing it with things that we've already talked about, and he can apply all of that information to new situations that will come ahead. Well, I may be the only teacher, glad that you mentioned this, I might be the only teacher to say that a class is too quiet. I truly found this to be the case with our college bio class this year. While I'm used to a lot of conversation, questions, when a class at this level, this high level, where they're usually active and engaged, this year's students were exceedingly quiet. Almost every day, I would walk in with a loud and jolly, "Hello, class. How was the day? How was the weekend? How was your game the other night?" Only to be met with some smiling eyes, a vague head nod, and some kind of brief hand gesture, wave, thumbs up thing. In fact, some of these students here tonight will probably speak more at this one night of celebration than they have spoken the entire year in my class. Fortunately, Walter was more than willing to open up during our less structured lab times, as was the rest of the class. But Walter was always engaged and always asking questions, and sometimes even making a few jokes or sharing his success or failure in the daily Wordle. Although a few others here tonight might argue, Alex, I observed that Walter truly was the captain of his lab table. He totally stepped up. He had one lab table. He got them organized, and then he moved to another lab table, and then he took over that group, and he helped them too. He clarifies instructions and procedures. He was able to troubleshoot. He kept the rest of his lab team focused so that experiments, models, and constructions and dissections were completed efficiently and successfully. Yes, Jack cut his hand. We're not sure what happened. I'm not holding you accountable, Walter, I'm not. Who knows where this lab group might have been without Walter. In addition to the weighty course load of college and AP classes, Walter is a versatile athlete. As captain of the wrestling team, he's a positive role model to underclassmen, earning the Coach's Award for Most Valuable Player and for Most Dedicated Athlete. He has also been involved with the football program at Ellenville since he was in first grade. As a varsity player starting in 9th grade, he was dedicated summers, weekends, and off-season training and weightlifting just to ensure that he would always be in peak form when the season would begin. As an integral part of several winning seasons and a successful championship run, in the fall of 2019, Walter has been able to hone his leadership skills and has definitely realized the benefit of hard work. He was recognized both locally as a Kingston Daley Freeman first team defensive selection and regionally as a member of the all Section 9 coaches recognition. Although he wasn't able to be here, I want to share some words from the head varsity football coach, Dan Napanoch. He said, "Walter is an understanding, caring, and responsible young man. Moreover, Walter goes above and beyond what is asked of him in the classroom and on the athletic fields. He was the starting running back and the linebacker of our football team and helped lead the team to a state regional championship in 2019. He was a leader on and off the field and had the most responsibility, being the leader of the defense, and continuously persevered. He always led by example and displayed great sportsmanship towards his teammates and his opponents, and especially in defeat. His work ethic and dedication, academically and athletically, is the reason for his success. His cheerful nature, his openness to feedback means he's always learning and growing as a learner. It's an impressive strength that will continue to serve him beyond high school. Walter truly is the personification of good sportsmanship, and Ellenville High School really can be very proud to be represented by a student athlete of such a caliber at the many athletic events in which he has been involved. Once again, I would like to congratulate Walter and, of course, his parents. I'm sure it has been a group effort and a long, I'm sure a fruitful journey, and you must be so proud of all his accomplishments. I personally would like to thank Walter for all his help with the Honor Society induction. You might not believe it, I get a little nervous at things like that. It really was such a relief to have your energy and your enthusiasm and your willingness to sort of just take over. It really did help me, and I thought you did a fantastic job. In addition, I want to go on the record that after listening to your arguments last Thursday, I'm totally on Team Doors. There's definitely way more doors than wheels in the entire world. Sorry, Alex, I don't know what your arguments are, but they're not right. Walter, I wish you tremendous success at SUNY Oneonta next year. I have no doubt that your major in civil engineering will fit you perfectly. You'll be learning to design systems that will integrate with one another to make people's lives better. As you have been an integral part of our student body, you have most definitely contributed to the betterment of our school community. And thus at college, I'm sure you will continue to find success at this same end. Best of luck, and congratulations, and thank you.
Okay, so we have, I don't know, I'm gonna take a shot here. Katerina Klepnikova. How did I do? All right. And we're gonna have Mr. Espinosa up here in a few minutes.
Hello. I will try and make this short and sweet. I'm going to talk about Mr. Espinosa, or as everyone knows him as SB. So I've only known SB for about 4 years, and those happen to be some of the hardest 4 years I can remember enduring thus far, but hey, that's life. And I first met SB my freshman year and he was my Spanish teacher. And so while I may not remember whatever Spanish verbs he was trying to cement into our air-filled heads as freshmen, I do remember the many life lessons I had learned along the way because of him. 1 year turned to 2, then to 3, and finally 4 years have gone by where I can admit that I've repeatedly stolen SB's peaceful lunches and invading his space, filling the air with my presence. We would sometimes have pointless conversation discussing recent lacrosse games to then sometimes almost immediately covering more serious topics about how I had no clue what I was going to do with my future and what it had in store for me. It's probably not what SB expected teaching me that freshman year, but he was there every step of the way of my high school experience and I greatly appreciate it. Sometimes he would just listen to whatever I ranted about pointless things because his presence was just enough. And sometimes he would provide his ever so insightful input that he probably gained from his years and years of knowledge throughout adulthood. At this point, knowing SG for the 4 years that I have, he seems almost ancient to me, but is still as wise as ever. So, while I may not be the best with words, there are not enough for me to now say how thankful I am for meeting SB, but I'm hopeful that this small speech was enough to carry the message of appreciation to someone who was there for me, someone that provided support even when I was not there for myself. Thank you.
You know, like the ceiling is leaking on people's faces, right? That's what's happening. I will never not look at Walter as a duck. I see it. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Let's do this. You know, it's really hard to articulate what an absolute honor it is to be part of an occasion like this. I am proud, I am honored, and I am truly humbled to be here. I am proud of all of us, to be honest. I'm proud of students for striving and excelling through what will arguably go down in history as one of the most challenging periods in education. I am proud of us teachers because we understand and accept that sometimes the least important thing about our job is the actual curriculum itself. Today is evidence of that. We were chosen by our students because somewhere along the line we made an impression that went beyond the parameters of the textbook. And that is an honor, right? That is precisely what I felt when Katrina asked me here to speak on her behalf. And Katrina, I thank you for that. I'm going to switch to Russian. Just kidding, I don't speak Russian. I know, y'all was like, yay, this brother got it. This brother does not. Katrina, who I have oftentimes referred to as my Russian daughter. It's an honor that she has referred to me at times as her Dominican father, and an even greater honor that I don't have to pay child support for her. That's the best part. It adds up. Okay. Please edit that. I'm just kidding. Katrina, you really are, and I'm not going to make eye contact with you because this is leaking again. Not my eyes, I'm too manly for that, but the ceiling. You are a brilliant young woman with an incredibly bright future. You really are. I admire your commitment to excellence. I admire your drive. I do not admire the way you drive, however. That is scary. How do you make it from Woodsboro to Ellenville in 6 minutes? I know. I texted her. I'm like, hey, I'm in the parking lot. Where are you at? She's like, I just left home. I was like, that was 6 minutes. You know what? We're not going to do that because we have a cop here. I truly admire your determination, but above all things, I admire your resolve. You are, hands down, one of the strongest people I have ever met in my life. She's going to be a pilot, so I have a lot of pilot puns. Here's the first pilot pun. It is on the strength of those very wings that you will reach unimaginable heights. Pilot pun number 2. The sky's the limit for you, Katrina. As you embark on this new journey, however, I would like to share a few things that I have learned during my time, or as you put it, my ancient time on this earth. Number 1, this is really important. Rejection is protection that provides redirection. Yo, that was sick. I wrote that. Just don't Google it, because in case I did it, I'm not trying to get fired. Contrary to what many people might say, I want to encourage you to take no for an answer. I know that's very controversial, but the no, more often than not, ushers you in the direction of the yes. The things that will break your heart, why you guys gotta make it weird for? The things that will break your heart will most likely fix your vision. And I hope you never forget that. Or this, make your bed every morning. Not for anything philosophical, but it's just really nasty when you walk into a room and anyway, especially if you have a roommate. Crying is the body's way of expressing what it cannot put into words. Please never hold it in, because it'll give you gas. Oh, guys, it's true. Like, this is... Always do what is right, not what is easy. Never, ever eat gas station sushi because of the gasket. You don't have to be brave all the time. You just have to show up. And show up is exactly what you've done since the first day I met you. I know you're going to do great things. You're almost there. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Forge your own path. Embrace the challenges and continue to grow, because you are destined for greatness. In closing, I want you to remember the following when you're going through a hard time. A diamond, one of the most precious, sought after, and most expensive stones, did not start out as a valuable product you see displayed in some of the most expensive jewelry stores in the world. A diamond forms when carbon deposits deep within the earth, 90 to 125 miles below the surface, are subject to high temperature and extreme pressures. Challenges reveal our true value and our true form. And you, my dear, will shine extremely bright because of them. Thank you for being wonderful. Thank you for being you. Ellenville will miss you next year. See, this is why it's going to take long. Like, is anybody else distracted by the cake? No, just me? Okay. One of the best compliments anybody has ever given me is that I have inspired. And I remember you said that to me. But the fact of the matter is, oh, look, lights. Yeah, I actually look up to you. Get it? Because you're going to be a pilot? And those of us who know her story, we know where that is. In conclusion, for real this time, I'm going to share a story, an analogy, something I read, I don't even know what to call it. And it goes something along the lines of this. Can I have those tissues?
Batman.
Yeah. Sorry, but when your nose is this big, you gotta blow extra hard. You gotta get everything from the sinuses. All right. So once upon a time, I was driving. I didn't write this, and I saw a bird. It was a little bird, and it was sitting on a branch. And the bird sitting on the branch was being tossed left and right by the wind. It was a pretty big storm. And I got to thinking to myself, as somebody who has struggled with anxiety pretty much their whole life, why is that bird not concerned? And then I got concerned because I was thinking about what a bird might be feeling. But anyway, I digress. So then it hit me. The bird was not concerned because the bird trusts the strength of her wings more than it trusts the elements on the outside. And as long as you trust the strength of your wings, you're never going to be thrown off no matter what life throws at you. So, I love you, we love you, and we know that you're going to do absolutely great things, Katrina. Thank you.
Yeah, you do, bud.
I'm just going to fix my makeup. Give me a second.
All right, we got Mr. Michael Doria. Come on up, Mike.
So I'm honored to have received a scholarship from the ETSRPA, and I want to thank Mr. Espinoza for speaking today, again. Mr. Espinoza was one of the first teachers that pushed me to not only become a better student, but to become a better person. I still remember, freshman year, not really knowing what to expect with my first Spanish teacher, true Spanish teacher, I would say. I still remember, going into class, trying to learn the verbs, the nouns in Spanish, trying to say años. It was something. It was something back then. Small inside joke. But when I took Mr. Espinoza's class, he always called on me to answer questions, and he told me this was necessary to fluently speak Spanish. Now I really can't speak Spanish, but I try. Whenever I didn't understand something, he always made it a point to try to fit me in his busy schedule and to try to teach me so that I did not fall behind the other students. Mr. Espinoza instilled a hard work ethic and taught me valuable life lessons, which are things that I still follow to this day. SB is a genuine person who sees the good in everybody, and he encourages students to take initiative and learn. He is a teacher who goes above and beyond what is asked of him to ensure that everyone is happy and is in a healthy mindset. If it were not for him, I do not think that I would push myself as hard as I did throughout my 4 years in Ellenville. I truly appreciate everything that Mr. Espinoza has done for me, and I consider that he has definitely made a positive impact on my overall character. Thank you, SB.
All right, let's try that again without the waterworks. If only crime burned calories, right? I could totally take off this fat. Never mind. You know what? Let's continue. So Mike and I, Mikey, guys, seriously, you realize we have some great kids, right? Like, this is off script. There's no joke behind it, but we really have some great kids in this district, man. Like, and it's during times like this that we can actually stop and appreciate. Not that we don't, not that we forget, but we get so busy in the hustle and bustle and in the testing, and in the teaching, and the curriculum, and in all the extras that we sometimes kind of overlook their greatness. And I personally am going to hold myself more accountable moving forward to make sure that I don't do that. And I challenge everybody else here to do the same. But anyway, so I was honored when Mikey came up to me and he asked me to do this on his behalf. There's no way I was going to say no, because Mikey is one of my most memorable students. But he did sweeten the deal, though, by saying that if I agreed to do this, he would get his dad to help me drop my latest speeding ticket. And it is a doozy. Oh my God. It would have given me more points in my license than Steph Curry has had his entire career. No joke. I'm just kidding. I'm totally here on my own will. I'm going to highlight with specific examples some of the attributes and characteristics that make Mikey a student who is worthy of recognition. The first being self-discipline. A self-disciplined student, such as Michael, thinks about himself, herself, or themselves. He thinks about their words and actions, and then makes choices that are right for themselves and for others. Students like Michael often accept things when they do not go their way and modify them accordingly, and that has been my experience with this young man. In other words, Michael understands that before he can get to the play part of life, the hard work needs to be done, and that was also the case in the classroom. Oh wait, I'm sorry, dude, that's your sister. My bad. I got my notes mixed up. I'm just kidding. Michael is a very compassionate individual. Michael is kind in helping others, and he is kind in uplifting them instead of knocking them down, whether it be verbally or physically. To give you an example, I remember that I greatly struggled when I first turned 40. It was the realization that I was starting to face my own mortality. At some point, as Katrina pointed out, I am ancient. Upon sharing that with my students, because they were asking, "SB, what's wrong?" And I said, "I'm sad, I'm 40, I'm getting up there, ancient." Michael put his hand on my shoulder and ever so gently said, "SB, I'm so sorry you're old." I was waiting for the subsequent laugh that never came, and at that point I realized the boy was serious. And then, with a tear in his eye, reminiscent of my previous speech, he said, "I'm really sorry your beard is turning gray." Thanks, Mikey. I hadn't realized it at that point, but thank you for bringing that up. I see it now. Michael is also a man of integrity. Webster's dictionary defines integrity as the quality of having strong moral principles or moral uprightness. Michael surely possesses this quality. He once told me and confessed that he only used Google Translate in his assignments 975 times when he was a student, in a day, in class, for a test that he wasn't supposed to, but I still love him. I'm totally just kidding. Please don't burn me. But in all honesty, seriously, Michael is the personification of citizenship. He is the personification of responsibility. Michael, one thing that I love about you is that your positivity and your overall demeanor are infectious. Dude, you make a room better just by being in it. Like, you really do. And I think those of us that have been your teachers, those of us that have had the opportunity to get to know you, we can all attest to that. That's not lip service. That's not something that I'm standing up here saying simply because your dad's going to dismiss my ticket. And today, we honor you. We honor you for, among other things, your perseverance, your self-discipline in completing important milestones in your life, your hard work, your dedication, and your commitment. And all of these have played a role in your success, are going to continue to catapult you to the next level, which I'm sure you're going to do extremely well. Now, Michael, with that success comes some type of responsibility. We, right, and when I say we, I'm talking about your parents' generation and mine. We are going to look for your generation for leadership when our time comes. Society is also going to look at you to be a difference maker for all of our future challenges, which are surely going to come, especially as we continue to move beyond what COVID has done. So tonight, Michael, I want you to rethink the way you think, Michael. Rethink the way you think. SB, you read that wrong. I want you to think about yourself as being a leader, and I want you to think of yourself as being a difference maker, because that is precisely what you are. I want you to start considering how you're going to lead. That's an important question that you need to ask yourself, because the time is going to come when you're going to be asked to step up, and when you do step up, not if, when you do step up, I want you to be ready. Be fearless. Be fair. May your heart never become tainted by an erroneous definition of what correctness is. Keeping your heart pure, Michael, will allow you to lead with it. And a leader that leads in such a manner is certainly an effective one. Continue to always be kind. Always challenge and speak up against injustices. The great Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And that, Michael, is what makes you unforgettable. Because every person whose life you've touched will always remember how you made them feel, and that will always be a positive thing. I believe in the art of folklore, and I believe in the art of storytelling. Those of you who are my students, you guys know I can ramble for days. Sometimes they'll just get me to tell them these parables just so I don't have to teach, and it actually works. And it's not until I look at them and they're like smiling at each other, giving themselves a thumbs up because the bell's gonna ring in 30 seconds, that I realize what their goal was. So I'm gonna share this story with you. I modified it to fit the occasion. There was a group of former students, highly established in their careers, who got together one night to visit their old teacher. Their conversation soon turned into complaints about stress and the work that they do in their lives. Offering his guests coffee, the teacher went to the kitchen and returned with a large pot of coffee and an assortment of cups. Some of the cups were porcelain, some plastic, glass, crystal, some plain looking, some expensive, and some were really, really exquisite. The teacher told each of them to help themselves to the coffee. When all the students had a cup of coffee in hand, the teacher said the following: if you noticed, all the nice-looking, expensive cups were being taken up, leaving behind the plain and cheap ones. While it is normal for you, Michael, to want only the best for yourself, that often is the very source of the problem and stresses that we experience. Be assured that the cup itself adds no quality to the coffee in most cases. It is more expensive, yes, and in some cases even hides what you drink. However, what all of you really wanted was coffee, not the cup. But you went for the best cup and then began eyeing each other's cups. The teacher continued, and Michael, this is what I want to kind of impart in you. Now consider this. Life is the coffee, and the jobs, the money, and the position in society are the cups. They are just tools that hold and contain life. And the type of cup we have does not define nor change the quality of life that we live. For me, the quality of our life is found in the relationships that we have with the ones we love. Take a moment, Michael, and reflect on your relationships. Your life is full because of your connection with your beautiful parents, your spouse. We're too young, but we think about that right now. Your significant others, children, family, friends, and fellow students. It is in these very relationships that we find the joy in our life. I'm going to quote the great Maya Angelou one more time. She says, I've learned that whatever I decide to do with an open heart will usually lead me to make the right decision. So Michael, in closing, dear, dear, dear Michael, I hope that throughout the rest of your life, whether I get the honor of seeing you again or not, you focus on the coffee and not the cup. Thank you.
Okay, wow. Let's have all the kids stand up and give them a big round of applause, please. What a absolute awesome group of kids. So I've got one more assignment. I got one more assignment for everybody. First of all, we have dessert and coffee. We'd like everybody to take part, but before any of the kids can have dessert and coffee, they have to meet me on the patio for a picture. Okay? So once again, congratulations to all our scholarship winners. We can't wait to see what the future holds for you. And in the next minute, it holds a picture on the patio. So let's go. Thank you, everybody.